Hello and good morning. I just want to do a video today on 2 ways to fix your lactose intolerance. So these are kind of like life hacks if you're lactose intolerant. You can't digest milk, maybe you get gassy, bloated, maybe you break out. And hopefully these will help you overcome it so you can enjoy that healthy, yummy dairy again. And obviously this goes without saying, if you have an anaphylactic allergy to milk, meaning you need an EpiPen or your throat closes up or you're going to get rushed to the hospital, this is not advice for you. I don't want you to do that. So obviously, I think you guys know that. But yeah, if you have like those other symptoms of lactose intolerance that you really can't handle dairy at all, maybe you get like eczema or your just symptoms get worse, fatigue, this might help you. So first of all, I really promote healing your gut because usually when you have food intolerances, and that means you react badly to them, you need to heal your gut. You don't have enough microbes to break down the food. Your gut lining is like leaky. It's called intestinal permeability. So whatever you're having is leaking into the inner parts of your gut lining, causing a reaction. Your mast cells, your basophils, everything are just releasing immune chemicals and causing a reaction. So the goal is to do the GAPS protocol to heal and seal the gut. But after you have done the GAPS protocol, I think these people think I'm moving. Once you have done the GAPS protocol, if you're wanting to, or you're just struggling with dairy, then this is going to be for you. So the first thing to do is to switch to raw dairy instead of pasteurized dairy. So when you go to the store, the supermarket, even health food stores, honestly, the dairy comes from cows. Some of the cows are super sick, treated with antibiotics, treated with growth hormones and all that other crap. Like it's really, really toxic milk. So they do nasty things. They bleach it, they pasteurize it, meaning they bring it up to a boil to kill all the bacteria, which is needed because these cows are so sick. And then they actually put it in a pressure chamber with something like nickel. And it basically takes the cream, normally the cream separates and then the milk's on the bottom. When you put it in this homogenization machine, whatever it is, it pressurizes it so that the chemical structure of everything changes, the molecular structure. So now the cream doesn't rise to the top. It's all kind of homogenized. That's what it's called. So that is like the that is the normal, the common way that you see dairy at the store. It's going to have gone through all that alteration. And so if you drink that and you get farty and bloated, and I was just thinking of that guy from Zoolander. Don't you know I get farty and bloated from a foamy latte? Anyway, so if you have that and you get those symptoms, that's not necessarily the dairy. It's probably the bad quality dairy and the crazy alterations that they do to it. I mean, it's not meant to be pasteurized in those high temps, boiling, cooled down, totally changing the chemical structure. No wonder you can't digest it. I mean, it's turned from a beautiful health food to like, I don't know, just a crappy processed food. So by switching to raw dairy from healthy cows, it is so much easier to digest. So this is the first tip, is doing that. My husband, if he drinks a little piccolo, like a coffee this big with milk in it, pasteurized milk from a cafe, he will get crazy dandruff. He'll get like a little rash right here. He just does not respond well to it. And it's not a dairy allergy. It's not a dairy intolerance. It's an intolerance to the pasteurization and the crazy alterations that they do with this milk. It's disgusting. But he could drink, I kid you not, he can drink 2 liters, which is like, I think that's like half a gallon. He could probably drink more of raw milk. I mean, I used to buy it all the time and he would just drink it like it was a meal. He didn't want to cook. He'd just drink a ton of milk. No symptoms at all. He'd feel better. He'd sing better. So yeah, and both of us, we can handle a ton of that raw dairy. We can handle raw cheese, we can handle raw yogurt, raw kefir, like pretty much any food that's made with raw milk we can handle. And that is because, one, it has beneficial bacteria. Just like breast milk, it comes with beneficial probiotics, assuming it's coming from healthy cows that are raised on green pasture in the sun, not given a ton of chemicals and hormones and antibiotics and ugh. So it has a ton of probiotics, making it easier to digest. And it also contains enzymes, which are things that your body needs to break down food. So if you eat an apple, it comes with enzymes that you need to break down that apple. So with raw milk, it has lactase, which is the enzyme to break down lactose. So every time you're drinking that, you're actually getting the enzyme that you need to break it down. So it doesn't matter if your body's producing that enzyme because you're getting it in every glass of raw milk that you drink. So I hope that makes sense. That is the first reason to switch to that raw dairy. It has the enzymes. It's way easier to digest. It's not a funky product. It's as nature and God intended it. The second thing to do if you're dealing with lactose intolerance, so I'll just give my story. I can totally handle raw dairy. It's great. Pasteurized dairy causes me to break out. And I'm not doing the GAPS protocol anymore. I love it. I maintain a lot of the principles all the time, but I do love going to a cafe like I'm doing right now and getting that little piccolo, which is like a little bit of coffee and a little bit of milk. And it's just a thing that I do a few times a week. I love it. But the milk they use is like the pasteurized. It's not raw. Obviously, you can't do that in Australia, like serve raw milk at a cafe, as far as I know. So yeah, it's like that pasteurized, homogenized milk. And you know what? A little bit of that, I'm like, I should be able, it's seriously that much, guys. I feel like I should be able to handle that, or I would at least like to be able to handle that without having a reaction, getting gassy or breaking out or something. So this is the second tip. We're getting into the second tip. If you struggle and you're like me and you struggle with that pasteurized dairy, but you know you kind of want to live and you know that maybe where you live, it's really hard to get raw dairy. And when you go out to restaurants and things, like if you get a yummy pizza or something, you don't want to struggle with those symptoms. The second thing that is really beneficial, and I have found it to be so amazing, is at home making milk kefir and consuming that daily or at least every couple days. Now, you don't need a lot. I actually recommend you start off very slow with like a few drops, but homemade milk kefir contains around 60 to 70 different strains of beneficial yeast, bacteria, and other healthy organisms that are good for your gut and good to break down things. One of those, this is really cool, guys, is E. coli. It's a beneficial form of E. coli, and it actually breaks down lactose. So if you take a probiotic supplement, you might notice that the beneficial form of E. coli is in there. I know people think, oh, E. coli, I'm going to get sick. But for every species, there's like good and bad strains. And so E. coli breaks down lactose. So what I have been doing is I make a big batch of raw milk kefir. You can use pasteurized milk for this, believe it or not. You just want to make sure you have the kefir grains. And these are little rubbery, they're tiny little grains. They kind of look like little rubbery bouncy ball things. And they multiply. So they eat the sugar, they eat the lactose and everything in your milk. And they turn it into all these beneficial probiotics and whey and everything. So basically, the point is, when you do that, when you use those raw milk kefir grains and you create this amazing kefir drink, you don't even have to have much. You can have like a few drops or like a spoonful of it. It has so much of that beneficial E. coli and all these other microbes that if you were to do that and then let's say go out to a restaurant or go have a coffee or something, your body should be able to break it down because you've just reestablished that E. coli in your gut to break it down, and it creates those enzymes that are lacking in the pasteurized dairy to break down the lactose. So I hope this isn't too confusing. I'm kind of going back and forth between milk kefir and everything. But the first tip was try the raw dairy. If that works, great. If it doesn't, try adding in the milk kefir. That's why this is one of the superfoods on the GAPS diet. It really has so much beneficial bacteria. It's out of this world. It beats every probiotic. I actually have a video coming up on that, comparing it to some of the top therapeutic probiotics. So if you want to subscribe, you'll get to see that video. Or the notification bell, I guess. So yeah, have a little teaspoon of milk kefir if you can handle it, a couple times a day, every couple days, you know, whatever you want to do just to be reestablishing your gut with all that good bacteria that's going to help create those enzymes to break down the lactose. So if you're really struggling, that is where kefir comes in handy. I hope this helps some of you guys. I don't want you to live farty and bloated and dairy intolerant. That would totally suck. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.